Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome back.
Welcome to the Revolutionary Baddies podcast. I am your host. My name is Dee Dee.
And I'm your host, Brittany.
And we are so excited to have you here. Thank you to all of our beautiful, amazing, intelligent listeners.
That's what they are.
I think we have some new subscribers to the revolution, like as a thing.
Okay, hello.
Yeah.
I have to keep in mind often that new people are coming on board.
Every single episode.
Which I mean, I get because we have new followers online, on social media. And that's why I pinned the manifesto, because I'm like, I kind of want people to be able to quickly see okay, who are they? What is this all about?
Right.
But the best way to get into it is to start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And binge. All the way through.
Binge the episodes. Listen to us on a good little road trip.
Yeah.
We can get y'all through. We can get you through a couple of hours.
A lot while you're cooking, cleaning, working out. I mean, I know for working out, some people like to, I don't know, little baby or something. But switch it out.
Listen to us. Let us be your motivation.
Hello.
And that's why we started this podcast. We really want to invite more people.
Yeah.
But especially more Black women's voices in what is happening in the world right now. What's the political terrain that we are living in? And also, how does history connect to where we are now? That is what we're here to talk about. Now, obviously, we bring our little flavor.
We joke, We joke.
Brittany's always talking about toe sucking.
Look, the amount of people, it's not a large amount, but I've had a few people that they come up, we're talking about the podcast, and then they're like, yo, you and the toes, it's just taking on its own life.
It is.
And
it's a through line.
And it's so funny because it's very normal for me to be absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
But I have many layers. So sometimes I'm out and I'm not in my outrageous mode.
Yeah.
And then someone's reminding me that I talk about toes.
Yeah.
Sucking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh.
No, people have been like, Brittany only like Africans. I mean, African men, that's the other rumor.
That's the accusation. I mean.
She's not beating them.
I'm not beating them. I'm not. My coworker literally accused me of not liking light-skinned men.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that I've heard as well.
And I'm like, why would you think that? And he's like, well, I mean, you be talking about African men. And I'm like, okay, well, it's just shocking to me to be accused of such. I'm like, I like all types. I'm like, oh, baby, my body count is very diverse. Very, very diverse. Skin complexion wise, level of education, height,
citizenship,
status, fuck ICE, love of immigrants. All type, from the north, from the south, from the water, across the waters, wherever. I'm like, it's very diverse. Okay, you don't know me. And my first African love was light skin, so I'm like, you take that off of me, okay? Because that light skinned Ghanaian had a hold on me, over a decade. We had a hold on each other. So I get reminded of these things, and I'm like, oh, I must have said something on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I be talking.
Yeah, we be talking.
Yeah.
No, we be talking. But take what we're saying. Don't take it too much to heart. Or even better, if you have a follow-up question, ask us. Hit me up.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Hit me up. If you like, I'm not African, but I'm a good man. Hit me up. Because I love all Black men.
Yeah.
From the mulattoes to the Ashantis. All of y'all. Love y'all.
We love y'all.
Deeply.
We love y'all.
Yes. And happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
It's a good time.
Great month. We're in June.
Yeah. I fucks with June.
I'm excited. We're in episode 20.
We're in episode 20. As some of you may know, we plan to go to 26. We blessing y'all. We are blessing y'all with 26 episodes this season.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know, man.
So much. It's so much more to talk about. That's the thing. Like we're missing. We're going to be missing things.
Every episode that we do, I'm like, damn, we didn't say enough.
Yeah.
Because it's so much. We really could do part 2s and 3s frequently.
Oh, yeah.
On subject matters.
Yeah.
But we do our best to put it in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's a lot to discuss. And a lot of what we discuss is really bringing the history into now.
Yeah.
If we just talked about the now.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would also be a different podcast.
It would be the easier part, honestly.
Yeah.
To just see it as now. And that's, I think, what's so important about our podcast is that if we just talked about current events, you would miss the whole premise of that.
Yeah.
There is no current event that is new under the sun.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So it's so important that we go back. And for today's episode, we are once again hopping in our time machine, as we do. And we're going back to our favorite. Our favorite era.
Uh-huh. The 60s.
The 60s. The 60s, such a rich.
It's just rich.
Decade.
It's so rich.
To learn from.
So much happened.
Because I think that the wisdom that a lot of the intellectuals and activists and freedom fighters from the 60s, they were leaning on previous decades. So it's not like we're just bringing out knowledge from that particular decade, but that they themselves were heavily influenced by Ida B. Wells, Ella Baker, Du Bois. And so they're bringing in stuff that they were leaning on from the 1930s, the 1920s. So we're really just always in a perpetual cycle of like bringing out like a washing machine, just rinsing, wringing out the same kind of discourse, but for that generation. So here we are in our generation.
Yeah. People don't build revolutions. Revolutions build the people.
There it is.
Like these revolutionaries that we mention in our episodes come out of the revolutions. It's not the other way around. It's never the other way around.
Right.
And so, it's an encouraging idea because it helps you to kind of think like, oh shit, like who are the revolutionaries that are being birthed, not literally birthed, but are being politicized and more conscious, what have you, now based on what's happening in this country, and what will those people do 20 years from now or 10 years from now or next year,
and how will history illuminate them? Because I just watched the W.E.B. Du Bois documentary.
Highly recommend.
It's
on PBS. It's on YouTube. It's maybe like a little over an hour and a half.
It's like an hour and 50. It's a good chunk. It's a good chunk. Because I remember my daughter came up like, you still watching this? I'm like, I am.
I think I split it in two.
And it was a phenomenal documentary. He lived to be, I believe, 93 years old. And, if you would have talked about Du Bois or looked at his life and his contributions in the 1920s or 30s, it was significant. He was popular. He was what we would call famous, important, but still you wouldn't have had the same appreciation to look now at it in 100 years later and to say like, whoa,
he did a lot.
He did a lot.
Yeah.
Anytime I look at somebody like Du Bois or Ella Baker, I'm like, I am not doing enough, but God knows if I start now, I can try to do a fourth.
Yeah.
They did
they did
a lot, but I think it's also the viewpoint of like, you don't see what you've done in the same light as others.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And granted, I definitely have not done enough. But I don't even think they would have felt like they've done enough.
Yeah.
At that time. But my God. Yeah. And I watched also the documentary about Grace Lee Boggs, who we are going to be bringing her words into this conversation today. And she lived to be 100. And the person who did the documentary on her was like, you know, I think that there's a certain magic in a way about looking at someone's life and their work, because they don't have that perspective that you do. Yeah. Being much younger than them and looking like, oh my God, you did all these things. And they're like knowledgeable. But Grace Lee Boggs is in the documentary and she's like, I don't know why I'm on people's shirts. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm so popular. Yeah. Like, I've been doing this for decades and now I'm like an icon. Yeah. And a figure. Yeah, it's something about having a different perspective on your contributions and your fight, because a true freedom fighter doesn't look at it like a resume, right? Like, exactly, I did this, I did that, I did this. I mean, granted, they have a resume, I'm sure, but just different things. Like even the interviewer, the documentary person, it's a term for that.
The documentarian.
There we go. She was like asking Grace Lee Boggs repeatedly, what is it like to be like, what was it like to be a Chinese American woman during this time? And she was like, there was no Chinese movement and there was no real feminist movement. She's like, so I just didn't see myself in terms of being Chinese or a woman. I was just me. And that was like, the person interviewing her could not understand that. Like, what do you mean you didn't see yourself as a Chinese woman? And she's just like, I mean, it just wasn't a lot of language. Like, it wasn't the language for it. It wasn't, I mean, obviously she knew she was a woman. She knew she was Chinese. But like the identity politics of it didn't exist yet. With her being born in 1915. And so the young woman who's interviewing her is like, I had to really understand that like it's easy to look at these people as like peers and they're not my peers. She wasn't my peer. She was in a completely different reality. And sometimes we don't get that looking back in history about these people. And so it's just so much to learn from people of the past and how we try to fit them in our mind, like in our imagination of like how they saw the world, but they had a completely different world that they were living
literally in. It's very different. It kind of reminds me of when the like Tyra Banks, the America's Next Top Model, that documentary, the thing that all of them say was like, it was such a different time. It was such a different time for like, obviously way later, we're like, whoa, that shit is highly inappropriate. This was dangerous. This was fucked up. This was exploitation. But it's the same, you know, that is the reality. And we hope that our episodes help to kind of give a little bit more color to those times. And, you know, obviously we talk a lot about slavery. We talk about post-slavery Reconstruction era a lot. And we talk about the 60s to really help to color those things in, because the way that we think about the world now is not the way that people thought about the world then. No. Like, it's just not true.
And if we sit still long enough, the way we ourselves, like millennials, you know, Dee Dee and I are 36 years old. The way we thought about the world in 1995, granted we were children, but just like the technology, like there was no internet. The internet was just starting to kind of birth around in the coming years. So like even in our short lifespan of 36 years, we see the world completely different. How we interact with people.
We're living in a technological revolution. We were part of the early. We're the children that was born in the technological revolution.
The early 2000s, believe it or not, listeners, all I wanted was a light-skinned boy with some cornrows. I thought that was cute. Light skin, green eyes with some straight bags. That's all I wanted. Yeah. So my evolution in 20 years, and I look back and I'm like, okay, that probably had a layer of colorism, obviously, in it.
Yeah.
So things change,
yes,
even within a short lifespan. So think about some of these people.
Yeah, God has changed.
There it is. That's tattooed on my body. So we have another great episode. Last week we came at you, or the last episode 19, with Kwame Ture's Pitfalls of Liberalism.
Mm-hmm.
We dabbled in a little bit of Mao, but we came for the liberalism.
Mm-hmm.
And we ain't done.
No, can't be.
Never.
It's too much to do.
Won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to now go into another great essay by Grace Lee Boggs, who we've just been speaking about. And it's called The Black Revolution in America. Mm-hmm. So she delivered this speech in 1968. So about a year, I believe, before The Pitfalls of Liberalism by Kwame Ture. Mm-hmm. But we've said this many times before as we talked about this era. That was an explosive decade.
Hell yeah.
Particularly in hindsight.
Yeah.
Like it was for the people experiencing it, but looking back, it definitely was a standout decade of the 20th century. And she was asked to speak. It was delivered in November, so she's talking towards the end of the year. And so she was able to have a lot of hindsight just of that year alone. This is the same year that Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, as well as Bobby Kennedy, which I believe like freshly assassinated. Yeah. So she's able to speak, understanding all of the tensions and the fever of that year and of that time. And just to give you a little bit of background about Miss Grace Lee Boggs, she was a Chinese American civil rights and labor activist. Her support for causes such as the Black Power movement, feminism, and the environment spanned for over 70 years. She lived to be 100 years old. And most of her activism was concentrated in Detroit, where she met her husband, James Boggs. And together they became two of Detroit's best known activists. So they were hanging out with Ossie and Ruby Davis. I mean, they were around. Yeah. People knew them. She had her own journey before she married her husband. And watching her documentary, she really did not have any interactions at all with Black Americans until she moved to Chicago. She wasn't making much money because despite having a PhD, they were like, we don't really hire Orientals a lot. That was the term then. Once again, not a term we use now. And someone was like, I got like a basement apartment for you, but it's got like a rat problem. And she met up with other people who were protesting rat infestation in homes, and they were Black. And she was like, that's when, in all of her knowledge and study, she studied philosophy. It went from the statistics and the stories about Black people versus actually being in community with them. And that was her first taste of activism, really. And she saw what they were fighting for. And she joined forces, and she never really broke apart. So Grace was that.
She was locked in.
She was that Chinese woman that was around. Like, it's just, we know what it's like as Black people. Like, you're in certain spaces, whether you're an organizer or anything, community, and it's like, okay, someone's not Black here. Hello. Hello. Right? And they're around. And then, like I said, she eventually met her husband, James, known more so as Jimmy, who was from Alabama. He came up during the Great Migration. And he worked in the automobile industry. And he was not formally educated, but he wrote. He was an intellectual. He was an activist, and he was really a driving force behind a lot of her advocacy as well. So Grace Lee Boggs is a giant. Yeah. In the Black Power movement. Angela Davis said that, Grace Lee Boggs has done more for the Black struggle than most Black people. Oh. That's what she said.
I believe it. That sounds about right.
It is what it is. More than Jeffries. You know I'm going to bring him up. This essay, I think why it's a great follow-up to the pitfalls of liberalism, even though it was technically delivered before it, is that coming out of the 1967 rebellion uprising in Detroit, the year after, and everything else that happened in 1968, she's like, let's talk about what this Black revolution that people are calling for is. For our, and I think we're at that moment now in 2026.
Yeah,
we fed up.
Please, of everything. Honestly,
we are tired. That painting of that Black woman on the edge of the bed getting up. I mean, that is America. Black America specifically. We are tired.
Yeah.
We're tired of being tired.
And so much of what, again, this time in history, people really thought the revolution was coming. Like literally, the Democratic National Convention also happened that year in Chicago. The mass protests where students and young people and the Black Panther Party and the Brown Berets and all of these different organizations of young people and students got together protesting the DNC, and what that kind of evolved into just seeing this kind of very large massacre happen on television. This was also like when television was kind of early days of broadcasting these things, and it was broadcasted on the news of these kids and students being beat, ran over, trampled by fucking cop horses. Also, why do we still have that? What's that about?
Let's talk about that.
But that's a side note. And so this was that year. This is 2 years after the Black Panther Party was founded. This is also around the time Kwame Ture, like we mentioned before, the Black Power was emerging in these years. And so Detroit is a very, very important city, especially as it relates to Black unionism and the Black revolutionary unions that was built during those years by James Boggs.
Yeah. She worked and studied. First of all, she was a Karl Marx stand down. Marx and Engels. She said she studied everything. And it was really because of her involvement in, like you said, the labor and union struggles that was going on in Detroit. Detroit was a booming city in America. Millions of people were living in the city at this time. And the automotive industry was it.
Yeah. Ford, Dodge, they was all there.
All there. And but of course, anywhere you see this type of economic boom, you're going to see extreme economic inequality for so many people. And there are definitely, Black people were definitely able to live a better life than they were living in Alabama. Yeah. But it doesn't change, once again, the exploitation of the worker.
For sure.
In her doing this essay, speech, she really wanted to say, like, let's break down what is a revolution. Like, if we're going to talk about a revolution, let's be clear on what it is. And I think that's why I picked this essay and we're bringing it into today. Are so many people are at that point again. We need this revolution. Yeah. But we have to actually have clarity on what exactly that is. Yeah. And the ways in which it can be co-opted. And like she said, people are throwing the term out like it's something you can, turn on and turn off. So we have to have a really good study of what these terms are. So Grace sets out to specifically define what a revolution is. So here's a quote. A revolution, first of all, involves a rapidly escalating struggle for power, culminating in the forced displacement of social groups or strata who have held economic and political power by another or other social groups who have hitherto been ruled by those in power. Secondly, a revolution involves the destruction of one form of social organization which has been developed to meet the needs of a given society, by which has obviously failed to meet the needs of a significant section of that society, and its displacement by another system or form of social organization which purports to meet these needs. So
I love that definition.
Love it. She's essentially saying like a revolution is a replacement.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's an evolution. It's a change.
Yeah.
Completely to take a group, a ruling class,
mm-hmm.
which is a term we're hearing more commonly,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that they hold political and economic power, and there has to be a flip of that to meet the needs of a specific group, which are the 99%, the working class.
Right. It might be helpful to kind of put it into a little bit of context or a bit of an example. So, for instance, when the Cuban Revolution was happening, the first thing that Grace Lee Boggs says is rapidly escalating struggle for power, right? So as it relates to the Cuban Revolution, it was both the struggles that was happening in the cities and the struggles that was happening out in the rural country areas. That's where a lot of the guerrilla warfare was happening, generally was not in the cities. All of that was happening in the outskirts and the rural parts. And then the escalation around that struggle for power was brought into the cities. And by then, the leaders of the Cuban Revolution had so much support from the farmers, from the folks in the rural country parts, to join them, that by the time they got to the city, they were actually able to, to overthrow the, I think it was the Batistas. Mm-hmm. And so with that, so that's one piece of it. Then the other piece was after I believe the Cuban Communist Party gained power, which also still took time, and they actually had to redo the party. They had to completely reconstruct the Communist Party for them actually now holding that governance party that they fought so hard for. Then came the Culture Revolution, mm-hmm. They actually have it. It's called the Cultural Revolution, and part of that was their education system. They had just significant number of folks that could not read and write. A lot of in the rural parts, but also in the city parts. That was one of the first things that they set out to do once they gained political power, was set up a bit of an educational revolution where there were thousands and thousands of mostly Cuban women that volunteered, this is unpaid, to set out to literally teach the entire country how to read and write. And now Cuba has a 99, almost 100% literacy rate in that country. That existed because of the revolution. Yeah.
And rapid gains.
Yeah.
To
mm-hmm.
power through. And so she was very intentional to say that her speech was not about the Black movement.
Mm-hmm.
It was not about the Black struggle or about Black power. It was about Black revolution. So to make that distinction that a revolution is something different. And she also offers in this speech that a lot of revolutions do start with reform, and that that it was normal and not an anomaly that Black people in America would start off seeking reforms,
right?
Start off seeking integration.
Yeah.
And it's not until those attempts are done and the needs are still not satisfied that then revolution becomes imminent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that right now we're in that phase where it's like we're seeing all of these reforms from the civil rights era being repealed, being attacked.
Right.
We're in an era of regression that we're like, you know what? What good is a reform?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a permanent win.
And it still didn't meet the needs, which is also what she talks about. Like, something that was created and given to a society is only meets some people.
Yeah.
And it fails to meet the needs of a significant section of that society. And that needs to also be replaced.
Yeah.
And so it's this constant process. And I feel like we've mentioned this many times before, that the revolution is a process. It is the constant, like, okay, we're not back to the drawing board, but let's learn from what has been done already and actually try to meet the needs of people, because this did not.
Yeah.
We tried it. Doesn't work.
It's not going. And you know what I love that she says is, after giving that definition about what a revolution is that she's like, look, I do not have the answers. Like, I don't have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's something that we're also going to have to accept, because we're constantly looking for someone to have all of the answers. And a revolution is such a big thing for one person to be able to encompass the sole solution or the sole way to do it, right? Octavia Butler has said that, like, there are many solutions.
Yeah.
You know, you can be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but she did say that, you know, she believes that what is most necessary is that there has to be a profound and radical change of human activity.
Mm-hmm.
And that it has to be as profound as the moment that men stopped being nomads and began to settle down and plant food and domesticate animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it literally has to be
a huge switch,
a shift, Darwin like evolution of man, of humanity.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm constantly trying to advocate for via, y'all know what, coming up off of religion. Okay, we're stuck in a 2,000-year-old prison of thought, concepts. Mm-hmm. We got to undrag the knuckles and become something else, right? Mm-hmm. So that's one important part of revolution, is that it's not just this change in political party. It's not just this change in the economic philosophy of a country. It has to actually be a change in how we are as beings. Yeah. Yeah. And that thought is not unique to her.
Of course.
Fanon, my boy Fanon, has said the same thing. Assata Shakur has talked about revolution / evolution. Yeah. Malcolm X has talked about the Black Revolution versus the Negro Revolution. Yeah. So it's about this shift that has to occur within us to be able to achieve that. So that's one of the key points of the speech that she gave.
One of the things that also happens in movement spaces and organizing and activist spaces is sometimes we can box ourselves into believing the only answer is for us to change ourselves. You change yourself, you change the world. This, right? That is one way. That's one theory that holds a lot of history, holds a lot of people that move from that. You know, for instance, like Alcoholics Anonymous moves from that. Change yourself, you change the world. And there's a lot of history that is tied to that. And so I hope that folks understand that that is just one way of viewing your role in this kind of larger project of building towards a better world. That yes, you should absolutely be shifting and growing and developing your heart and your mind and your behaviors. And that is one factor of this. That is one very important factor of it. And there's a few others that we also have to get really, really skilled at. Yeah.
And it's not just, I think what's important about changing yourself is that it has to be a part of the way in which you parent. It has to be how you pass it on. It's not going to be you change, you've evolved, so now the world should.
Yeah.
It has to be not done as in an individualistic mindset.
Right. Exactly.
It has to be a communal thing. Like, I'm growing, so I've got to push the people around me to grow.
Yeah.
Who hopefully push the generations in front of them to grow. And it has to be like this ripple effect. But a revolution requires a lot. And she did say, I love throughout the speech, she's stern, but she gives grace in the sense of like, she's saying at this point, she's saying that the civil rights struggle essentially is about 13 years old. And she's like, that's a relatively short time from birth to maturity.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see full maturity of any movement in 13 years.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's another thing when we're looking at the people who are being awakened in this current moment. It's gonna take time to move people and move the needle in which you can actually make real significant gains. For sure. You can make a lot in 13 years. And in this 13 years she's talking about pretty much from 1955 to 1968, a lot of gains were made. Yeah. But that is not the full maturity of a movement.
Of it. Yeah. Absolutely.
And so it made me think, like, even when we look at like the quote unquote American Revolution, the grievances that they had were not brewing for 5 years. Like when they went to war, what was it, 1770s, eventually, winning the victory in 1776. This was decades long in the making of people shifting from identifying as British because they were immigrants. Right. And British loyalists.
They seem to forget that, but we didn't.
I ain't forgot. Okay. I wish we could send ice back in time. Could we put ice in a time machine? Because we've got some dangerous immigrants in the 1700s. Dangerous. And so they themselves are quote unquote founding fathers. This is a thing that took time to eventually lead to war and officially declaring that they were going to break from an empire. So to be patient in a sense that revolutions do take time to get people to be like, come on, man, you can't be a British loyalist no more. Like, why not? I'm loyal to the king. I love George. George is nice to me. Well, yeah, I've been here for some time and I don't quite get represented. It takes time. You gotta move them.
That accent.
I went to go see Hamilton recently. Okay, did I do good? And then another key point she moves to is the infamous duel between Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Obviously, this is a comparison that still lives on today. And I think it's fair because it's not so much about the actual person versus the other. Yeah. But right. Who they were speaking to, who they were leading, and what thoughts they represented. Because there will be diversity. That's another big part of this essay.
Absolutely.
We are not. I know Frankie Beverly told us we are one.
But we don't think is one. We ain't got one brain,
Not at all.
There was always going to be those people that were not for integration. And that is the people that Malcolm X spoke. That was his audience, right? That was the audience that he really captured. And then there's Martin Luther King Jr., who did a lot of things, not just around integration, but that's what he was really known for, as really being the Black leader of integration, and how the strategy or the tactic that he used of confrontation, and that being very different from the strategy coming out of Malcolm X at that time. And so people put all of those two against each other. They also literally have comic books dedicated to this dichotomy of Malcolm X being more armed struggle by any means necessary, vibes, and Martin Luther King being very much, I have a dream of one day this is what we can be. But he also had a lot of reflections. Both of them very much shifted in the later years of their life. And that's the thing that white supremacy has also robbed us of, was really seeing both of these leaders into their maturity.
Right. We didn't get them at the Grace Lee Boggs
snapshot
of phase of their life.
Hell no.
Because the Grace of the 60s, even of the early 60s to the late, like, things changed when the Detroit uprising happened, and pretty much the government was like, you and your husband are partially responsible. You were the leading activist in Detroit, and y'all are talking about black power. And look what this black power then burnt down in the city.
Burning down.
She said her and Jimmy had to sit back and reflect. Like, wait a minute now. I don't know. She, I think definitely, remained left leaning, but she kind of distanced herself from the communist idea, and not necessarily the ideology of it, but actually being associated with the party. And I don't think she was a part of the Communist Party per se, but in those groups that she circled, she kind of evolved. And like you said, we lost Malcolm and Martin in their 30s.
Yeah, they were young. They were younger than us, same age.
No, just a little bit older. I know Malcolm was 39. And
I think he was 38. Yeah, something like that.
Very young.
37, yeah. And they were starting to, both of them were starting to really shift in their politics. Literally.
Just there. And she says that like, what Malcolm was heading towards, he was not able to have realized because of his life being cut short. But she talks about, Martin Luther King definitely had the strategy of confrontation. And, what happened was that it exposed the brutality of white America.
Yeah, for sure.
And it showed the pitfalls of integration. And once again, Martin Luther King was not on a soapbox using the word integration, preaching integration. He was preaching equality. Right. And she talks about in a way in which that was kind of flipped and co-opted. Going back to the drawing board is their favorite thing. Co-optation is their thing. They would be like, bring that on in, sunshine. Let me do something with that for you. And they'll flip it before your eyes. You'll be like, damn, was I talking about?
Did I say that?
Ain't no telling what the Revolutionary Baddies podcast is going to be in 30 years. They're going to be like, this was a conservative podcast.
Or the opposite end.
They were talking about death.
Marxism.
They literally said they love Carl to death. But we do. And so she addressed that part. And then that actually the strategy that King had of confrontation, which was taken up by the young people of SNCC, evolved throughout the 1960s. Right. Into Black Power, which is what Malcolm had been talking about years before. Right. So she pretty much said the movement that SNCC had ended up taking a whole circle right back round to the Black Power, because once again, these tensions are escalating. The grievances are still there. And the message that Malcolm was preaching in the North to people in urban areas, people were like, you know what? I think he was on to something. Because damn it, I'm tired. And so, then she's like, so what do we do with this moment of Black power that's coming up? We talked about this with, I believe, Lessons from the 60s with Audre Lorde. And in other episodes is that, and maybe in Pan-Africanism, how it became kind of conflated with identity.
Right.
And aesthetics. The Pan-African sister, dashiki,
the afro, the natural hair.
Queen.
It became just a vibe.
Amor. Oh my God. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to cut up.
It became... Why you had to bring the back up?
I couldn't resist. Okay, it became a thing.
It became a thing. But it wasn't. It took on a life of its own. Where I think it's beautiful that it's absolutely beautiful that Black people decided, especially coming out of a political stance, to reclaim our natural connection.
The Isley Brothers got rid of the perms.
They got rid of the
fros. Like,
yeah, and funk music was coming up. Yeah. They were coming out of some of the Motown sound was all of this stuff was changing during this time, and which I think is beautiful, should be recognized. It is a zygote of is that the word? Zygote of that era is the afros, the flare pants.
Black is beautiful.
The sister, the brother, the moving Pan-Africanism, Kwanzaa, all of those things kind of came up in response to Black power, but they weren't actually about Black power.
They weren't power. It was missing the power aspect.
It was missing the power. It was definitely Black.
Yeah, and we are just a cultural people.
Yeah,
especially when our origin in this country was the complete suppression of our culture.
Yes. Yeah.
Which we never let go of.
Right.
But it was literally stifled. Mm-hmm. And so the bubbling of it, and I love that Grace says everybody was doing their own thing. Like, quote unquote, she literally says, quote, they were doing their own thing. And if that ain't us, we be doing our own thing.
That's really us.
West Coast, East Coast, the South.
That's Black America.
Every portion, everywhere we're in America, we are doing our own things. In Detroit, they got the fried catfish with the spaghetti. And I be looking at them niggas like, you are definitely doing your own thing.
They doing their own thing.
Because I wouldn't do that with spaghetti. I would eat it.
I
ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tear that up. But that's their own thing, though.
I've never had it as a combo.
I think that is one of the, you know what? I look at plates like that and I'm like, I love us. Yeah, for real.
Well, I guess the fish with the tomato sauce, we just fry that motherfucker. But fish and tomato sauce, that's a pretty African thing.
To me, that's a double entree.
It is 2 meals.
It is 2 meals.
It is definitely 2 meals.
I either grew up we eating fish or we eating spaghetti.
Right.
But somebody's frying fish and spaghetti. Honestly, as a child, I would have been a nigga heaven. Y'all dropping fish. And you know the thing. Oh, they got
and somebody already made a sketty.
They got the sketty. Okay, we cut up. We back. Okay. So in her talking about us doing our own thing, once again, she gives a lot of grace in the sense of like, you are going to see these differences, right? And it's healthy, and you're going to see these splits. Yeah. And she said, much like when Malcolm split from the Nation of Islam, she said, that's a healthy thing that happens. Yeah. And she said not to be demoralized by these things. The quote, she says, these splits are actually a healthy development and a sign of the movement's growing maturity and a search for political clarity rather than a cause for demoralization. And I think I need to hear those words now, and anybody else that's out there that cares, is that you will look at certain things and be like, the fuck is that about? What did these niggas, me and Jeffries and our imaginary beef. Yeah. But it's a real one. But that there are going to be these things because we're all kind of searching for the political clarity that we need. And some people are like, how can we make liberalism work for us?
How can we make capitalism work for us?
Yeah. How can we make communism work? Yeah. How can we make, some people are like, how can we, fuck it, let's make anarchy work. Like, you know, we're in different places, but we're all just ultimately searching for something different. Yeah. And hopefully better than what we have today. And so Grace, not just her name, but the concept, like we kind of have to give a little grace, and I'm talking to myself. Yeah.
I think too, this kind of makes me think about how Black people historically, we've also been in multiple modes of trying to transform society. There has always been Black folks that have been trying to change and transform and make better the education system that we have, right? Like, there are so many teachers and educators and principals that have done significant things within the constraints of the education system that we know has been built by white supremacy. We know that because look at the textbooks, right? And there's also at the same time, on the same timeline, always been Black people trying to build our own schools outside of the white supremacist education system that we, that is the main one where our kids go to. But there's also always been Black people building our own. And so that work happening side by side is absolutely necessary. They're not against each other.
Yeah.
They need to happen. Y'all mofos that work in corporate America, y'all need to be doing the same thing. Trying to transform that motherfucker from the inside. We cannot leave these things on the table.
Yeah. We
cannot. And I understand, like, it's exhausting, it's demoralizing, it's discouraging, it can be isolating, and it could be even more impact, right, on your livelihood or what have you. But we have to keep doing that because it's not going to magically change just because we want it to. People have to put in the work, and we also have to be building our own cooperatives or whatever works, whatever works for us to, because I also don't want to fall into the trap of just like support Black businesses. I think that's okay, but Black businesses also can exploit people, right? Yeah. And that's why other economic systems are necessary and useful and help us to really learn and grow what we need to be up to.
Yeah. I want to say I highly recommend watching the documentary. I think it's called Evolution of a Revolutionary, the Grace Lee Boggs documentary, because she talks about the more that you talk, the more that you speak, the more that you have conversations, you can debate is healthy. Hearing the contradictions is healthy.
Yeah.
And going back to the drawing board of what you even believe is useful. She used to record conversations, her and Jimmy, and they had some friends they would go see like every summer, and they would literally record stuff because she would kind of go back and tease her mind with like the contradictions. Granted, she was a philosophy major.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that is a lot of the work of philosophy is to kind of warp look at the ways in which your mind warps and bends around certain thoughts and to kind of like confront it.
Yeah.
And that it's healthy to confront your own thoughts. It's healthy to say, I could move on that subject.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
And we have to be fluid, flexible in this time. Once again, we're looking at people like Du Bois and Malcolm and Ella Baker and Ida B. Wells. Like, there has to be this evolution. God bless it if you're long enough to even really develop it. But the part that, I really love about this speech and that we're leaning into is that she breaks down the diverse socioeconomic groups that are doing their own thing. And she breaks it down into 3 groups. We have the Black middle class. We have the Black student youth in universities and the Black city youth on the streets. Pop quiz. Who will lead the revolution? But we'll get into it. So the Black middle class, we've talked about it essentially throughout different episodes. That's where we're going to see liberalism thrive in the Black community.
Yeah.
This is where we're going to see the puppets. I'm not even going to say his name. I've mentioned it at least 2 or 3 times throughout this episode. I'll throw in Cory Booker. This is where we're going to see that group and what they represent. And then we have the Black student youth in universities, which are organizing and doing work. And then, of course, the Black city youth on the streets. But she says that, the Black student youth and the Black middle class are easily co-opted. And so here's another quote. The aim of the white power structure is frankly to build a black middle class, i.e. to bring many blacks as possible into the mainstream of American society. And in the course of this, to create local power groups or puppet black administrations who would be too weak to overthrow the white power structure, but strong enough to contain and pacify the black masses.
You niggas is being contained and pacified.
I will never forget. I may have mentioned this before in season 1. I had very few white people at my high school, but I had one white classmate, and God bless him. He's in a he's in a classroom with a bunch of us, and we're us. And we're talking about something, and we said something about black power. And he puts up his fist, and he said, oh, I heard something. He says, black power. And then he takes his other hand over it like a glove, and he said, white control. He heard that shit from his daddy.
Yeah, for sure.
And I said, everybody was like, oh, fuck you with that. And I said, no, I'm paying attention to what that motherfucker just said.
Yeah.
Black power, white control. This is exactly what Grace Lee Boggs is talking about. These puppet administrations.
Yeah.
That are set up, they will never even seek to overthrow white power.
Yeah.
Capitalist power. And it's not about erasing, it's more of a, capitalist power. They are going to pacify black Americans. Tell us respectability politics. Tell us how to dress right, act right.
This ain't the way to do it.
Y'all calm down. Liberalism.
Yeah. We talked about
They're
that.
liberals.
No, we already talked about that.
They're there.
Yeah.
The black middle class is the liberal class within the group.
Yeah.
And that the students, the black youth students, they have this bubbling, interest, but then they say, come on into academia.
Yeah.
Get that degree.
Yeah.
Talk about stuff.
Study. Do your research.
And write stuff about it.
Write your paper, write your articles. Yeah.
Get published. And like Huey P. Newton talked about, he said he didn't want to be an armchair philosopher. He knew he needed to get, because he was in the university. So he was in that class. And so he said. Yeah.
A lot of the early Black Panther Party were.
Yeah. He said, hold up. They're trying to bring me in. Yeah. And so essentially she said the only group that is really connected is the black city youth. So this is the terms we hear: the urban youth, the youth in the ghettos of America. It is them. And she said they are the deepest and fastest growing layer inside the black community. The end product of 300 years of an American racist capitalist society, and more specifically of a system of education organized by and for the white middle classes. These youth have recognized that they have become expendable to a highly automated and cybernated society, and that they will have to destroy the society or be destroyed by it. She's saying automated, cybernated in 1968.
Yeah. She knew it. She knew where it was going.
Yeah, and Jimmy Boggs wrote a famous pamphlet or article. I believe it's called The American Revolution. But he's talking about his experiences from working in the automotive industry. That he sees where it's going. Technology is progressing. So if they were saying in the 1960s, they're all saying like, we're in the most technologically advanced society in the world, and it's progressing rapidly, and look where we're at. Just 3 years ago, no one was saying anything about a data center. Now it dominates the news, and it literally is dominating the land. So we see how quickly AI, I mean, we've talked about artificial intelligence, but look at the progress and the gains and the way it's culturally shifting in just the past 3 years. So this is what they're saying in the 1960s. They can foresee where we're going, and that the people who work for the Amazons, who work for these companies, are being, what is quote unquote called low skill labor. They are being replaced by machines. And they're going to be left destitute and realize we have the grievances and we are going to air them out. And that is where you get the people who really have the potential to lead movements because they have the most to lose.
Yeah. And I think that's also what's so significant about the Black Panther Party and so many other Black organizations that existed at that time that really took time, space, and commitment to bring in the young city youth of those eras, really bring them into a new way of behaving, of thinking about the world, of reading, of being taken care of, what it means to be in community. All of these things were done outside of the white supremacist structures that they were living in and that we are living in.
They couldn't be co-opted.
They couldn't be co-opted. And the Black revolutionaries at the time really protected them from the other layer of the Black middle class. So there's these layers and layers of history and ways of thinking about community and ways of thinking about what needs to be done and how things should be governed and who gets what. Like all of those things are wrapped up. And again, I just want to call the book Black Visions to the front. That is the book that I always reference by Michael Dawson. And it breaks down the different ideologies of Blackness. But there's just so many, and especially in a Black American context specifically. And that is part of what plays a role. But maybe we'll do another episode that's really dedicated to the youth uprisings.
Yeah.
Because there are many, many, many that have happened.
In this country and across the world. It is often the youth. They have the energy.
Yeah. I mean, the Cuban Revolution, what I just talked about.
Yeah.
They were young. Jay was young.
Y'all know I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan, or maybe y'all don't know, but I'm a stan. And on the end of To Pimp a Butterfly, he has the song with Tupac. He was able to get some like archived audio of Tupac, and he asks if he's pretty much having a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And Tupac says, you don't catch no 30-some-year-old loud nigga. Like they kind of are quieted down by then or suppressed. They kind of go through enough to kind of quiet down. It's always going to be this somewhat volatile youth that has the energy to carry what needs to be carried in a revolution.
Yeah.
And so she talks about, the strength of the Black youth. And she says, unlike the middle class, they're not preoccupied with this dream of building, economic and political power. That they, the middle class often uses the support and the cooperation of white people in their funding for this. She says that, their struggles spring from very real grievances, the everyday abuses and hardships suffered by the bulk of the Black community. So they are feeling it, not just from a philosophical standpoint. It is their daily lives to suffer under capitalism. She says that they also, recognize that the struggle cannot be about an individual. These are people that have to heavily lean on community and are not in this isolated individualistic mindset, which capitalism often pushes you in, especially as you enter upper classes, middle class. And that they are mostly anti-capitalist. They actually have the politic of being anti-imperialist, being anti-capitalist. And then she also says that they are consciously anti-liberal. They see what Kwame goes on to talk about are those pitfalls of like, we need a confrontation.
Yeah. And
the Black liberal or white liberal or whomever coming out and saying, hey guys, we're going to do a curfew tonight. We need y'all to go home. Stop this ruckus. And they see it. And that is why. And so Grace is very intentional to talk about that if there is going to be an American revolution, it's going to be a Black revolution.
Period.
And if it's going to be a Black revolution,
I'm going to be there.
We at the Capitol.
We already talked. What you wearing, Brittany? We already talked about
Okay, I want to redo my outfit because in hindsight, I listened to it. Dee Dee was coming at me for combat heels, but I have a cute pair.
You said a cat suit.
No, I said all black.
Oh, you said all black.
It was all black.
Did
but
I say a cat suit? Someone who said a cat suit. I said a trench coat.
You did say the trench.
I did say a trench coat.
And now I'm rethinking my Capitol fits.
What y'all wearing when
they never told us.
Nobody ever responded. I thought that was a good question.
I don't know.
What you trying to wear? I mean, y'all ain't never think about it. Yeah, I ain't never think about it. That's all it is. That's okay though. I think too, Grace Lee Boggs also did a lot of work with Black youth in Detroit.
Yeah.
Like that is a significant amount of her work of Grace Lee Boggs and Jimmy Boggs' work was around education and educating the youth. And so there is the James and Grace Lee Boggs Center to Nurture Community Leadership. And it has just a number of amazing programs that have existed for a long time to really keep their legacy of love for the people and love for the community and love for Detroit.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing that this place is able to still exist, and the amount of programs around gardening and around educating kids using popular education, art, activism, and just the amount of opportunities that still exist in Detroit because of these two human beings.
Incredible legacy. And the youth is, we talked about it, and we will have to always continue to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
That is who we have to invest in.
Oh, absolutely.
They, I believe June Jordan said, children are the ways in which the world is born again and again. Mm-hmm. And so I love that she breaks it down and really talks about that is who we have to trust the revolution with, and they will have to figure it out because they are young, like a Malcolm, like a Martin, like a Ella, like a Ida, like a Harriet, like a Che, Fidel, Emil, Kwame, all of them. They're coming into this politic and refining it over time if they are able to, like Fidel Castro, survive over 600 assassination attempts. To be able to live a long life.
Yeah.
And then in the final phases of this speech, she really just talks about, reform or not reforming the revolution of our political system, and that we have an outdated political system.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's done. She's told us, y'all, in 1968,
and
we're here like, what are we doing for the 2028 elections? She's already said it's cooked, roasted,
it's
burnt.
It's been done for a minute.
Beef jerky. And she's like, because it's so rooted in racism, it's nothing more, as she said, than a ritual. Just a way to participate. Because she's like, how can we have a healthy political system when the electorate is really just participating in a ritual of lesser evils? It can't be. A political system can be no more successful than the upliftment of the electorate.
Right.
And she said, really, I love that she's saying that because we are individualistic in a capitalistic society, that we don't see ourselves as individuals who can change history. And that until every person or the majority of people feel as though that they are history makers, they are history changers.
Yeah.
And that their participation in politics will shape the very nature of it. And the future. That it's really, the system is as dead as our aspirations.
Yeah.
So once again, it goes back to moving out of individualism, moving out of like, well, I'm gonna go through my little thing and that's it. It's done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hold any weight. And I can't shape it. We have to be transformed into all feeling empowered because we are. Because look at Grace Lee Boggs. She was one woman.
Yeah. And did a lot.
And we're talking about her today. And so, but our political system is, it needs a proper burial.
Yeah, for sure. It needs the ending of it needs its own ritual.
Not life support. Don't put it on life support. Papa's gone. Okay. The organs are not functioning.
Significant transformation. Significant. New body parts. Whole new body parts. I think that, I just feel very, very grateful for the ancestors that we have watching over us, keeping us going.
Oh my gosh.
And keeping my hope alive. Like, I feel like the more episodes, the more I learn about Black history and Black movement history in this country and across the world, it reaffirms the moments where you feel like this shit is bad. Like, we are down bad. Like, what's happening in Delaney Hall in Jersey is it's an atrocity. You know, every single day there's mass shootings every fucking day. Like, and then I hear a little bit, I read a little bit, learn a little bit about those that came before us and what they endured, the reality that they lived in, and how much opportunity actually does exist in front of us on the day-to-day.
Yeah, after I finished the Grace Lee Boggs documentary, my YouTube immediately rolled me into one with Fannie Lou Hamer. And as much as I've studied her and read her, I hadn't listened to her talk a lot. You know, I just catch some of the clips, her famous, like,
her voice speech is mesmerizing. It is. Oh my God. It is capturing.
She talked about how at 6 years old, she was already picking over 100 pounds of cotton a week. And by 13 years old, she was picking over 300 pounds of cotton. This woman was not enslaved. Yeah. She was a sharecropper with her family. And I think about the work that she did. She talked about what it was like to literally not have clothes, not have shoes, to be starving, to be hungry, to work and produce 300 pounds of cotton. Yeah. And to still go to her mom and say, why don't we have food? And she was like, I guess I want to be white because they seem to be fed. Her mama said, never that. Yeah. No. And even Grace Lee Boggs says in this speech, Black people are not striving to be white. They are striving to be the best image of themselves.
Exactly. We actually just want them to get out the way.
Move. Move. Muévelo, por favor. So I listened when I was listening to Fannie Lou Hamer as I'm like cooking and cleaning last night. I wanted to break out in the gospel song. I Can't Give Up Now. I'm not gonna sing it because
there you go.
I just can't give up now.
No, because
I sit at a computer for 9 hours and I'm like, my back is toe up. Ugh, hard day. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, Fannie Lou Hamer was picking cotton at 6 years old.
Shut your mouth.
Younger than Yali.
Younger than my child.
Yali already would have been a year into work.
She comes to tell me that she's hung up 10 pieces of clothes and she is beaming with pride.
Period.
And I love that for her, right?
Absolutely.
But it's once again, we have our ancestors who are not just these distant people, literally our grandmas. Yeah, my mom, who's 68, picked tobacco. Yeah, like
they was just here.
Yeah, she here. My mama down the street.
Yeah,
she went to segregated schools. No Ruby, no Bridges.
Yeah, that's not that far in history.
That's right.
Yeah,
and just we are ancestors. So let's join the group. Yeah. When we join them, let's be able to sit with them, right? Yeah. But it like you say, it does give us that hope. That we can face what we are up ahead, but that we have to have a keen understanding of what revolution is, who should we listen to and entrust. I love to see in Durham the youth that are participating in politics. And so I'm hopeful that the generations that are, I mean, I'm only a millennial, but Lord, who's after us? We got Gen Z, and then we got whoever's behind them. And as much as we like to criticize them about certain things, which every generation has its own level of criticism, that we have to build and trust and be cross-generational in our knowledge.
Yeah, that's the only way this thing is going to happen.
Yeah, and the woman who did the documentary about Grace Lee Boggs, she said it's a million Grace Lee Boggs out there. You just got to talk to an older woman. older person.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
So we want to encourage y'all, talk to the elders in your life.
Yeah.
See how what do they think about what's happening in the world right now?
And a lot of older people did a lot of stuff and they won't even talk about it.
They won't talk about it. That's gonna be me. Don't be that
way, Dee Dee.
I am. I just, it's just weird.
That's okay because I'm gonna be the yapper. Be like, go talk to Dee Dee.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was.
Exactly. Just point everybody in my direction.
Go ask her.
That's cool.
Yeah, go ask her. You're gonna be like, Grace, I don't know why everybody asking me about something.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, get the wealth of knowledge. Look back, and the more we take in these words, like Grace Lee Boggs, bless you for your work, and her husband Jimmy, and Kwame Ture, and Audre Lorde, and so many others from this era, is that the blueprint is there. Yeah,
the blueprint is there. Thank y'all so much for listening to episode 20 of season 2 of the Revolutionary Baddies podcast.
20.
Please like, subscribe, comment, respond to our questions. Hello. Share, tell your friends about the podcast, and consider becoming a Patreon member. You can find us on patreon.com/Revolutionary Baddies. Please consider becoming a Revolutionary Zaddy. A Revolutionary Zaddy. We got something coming for y'all this year. Just for the Zaddies.
You don't want to miss out.
I don't think you want to miss out. I don't think so. Please subscribe. Continue to share our podcast with the people. We are a digital ad-free podcast and proud of it. So thank you for the community that we have, and we will talk to you soon.